After a chaotic, controversial week on the southwest Texas border, the remaining migrants of the upwards of 15,000 that were underneath the international bridge here are gone. There's still a lot of questions about where they were, where they have gone, but they were cleared out today. You can see under the bridge that had once been an impromptu campground, it was cleared and cleaned up. Those migrants have been taken away for processing, but as we said, there are still a lot of questions about where they are. A group of Haitian Americans were in town today trying to reach out and help some of those Haitians who are under the bridge. They do not know where they are tonight. That is a bit of a mystery. But let's go back to the campground that we talked about. They were only a handful still remaining underneath the bridge this morning. Some reporting that number to be a little more than 200. They were loaded onto buses and taken away. And after the people were cleared out, tractors were brought in to clear out the trash, waste, and debris left behind. The cleanup not so easy in Washington, where the Biden administration is trying to deal with the fallout and the controversy surrounding this tumultuous week, particularly the outrage over the images of the Border Patrol agents on horseback using them to block and move migrants. Those agents on administrative duty under investigation. Today, President Biden saying those agents will be held responsible. There will be consequences.
It's an embarrassment, but it's beyond an embarrassment. It's dangerous. It's wrong. It sends the wrong message around the world. It sends the wrong message at home. It's simply not who we are.
As for where the migrants have gone, the DHS says some 8,000 have gone back to Mexico voluntarily. About 2,000 were expelled on 17 flights since Sunday. And that leaves about 5,000 in DHS custody. But DHS is not being forthcoming in saying where those migrants are tonight. It's assumed they will be either expelled or allowed to make their claims to stay. There were immigration attorneys that were in town today to help them make those claims. But again, they don't know where they are tonight. Some of those migrants could be sent to the Laredo sector, where the Border Patrol announced the opening of this, quote, soft-sided facility. We're told it can house single adults, families, and unaccompanied children. And while officials didn't mention Haitian migrants, it did say it was for people arriving on the southwest border, which is where we are now. This facility can hold up to 500 people, is air-conditioned, and reportedly will have plenty of room for eating and sleeping. It is about 15 miles south of Laredo, along Highway 83. And what played out underneath that international bridge has certainly been the talk of the town this week. But you talk to longtime residents of Del Rio, and they're going to tell you that there is a lot that played out in the last week and a half. And they're hoping how Del Rio responded is what people remember.
It's been a little bit crazy.
Surreal is probably a good word to describe it.
Two congregations that serve the same God, and this week, a multitude of people. The Esperanza Church in Del Rio feeding and housing DPS troopers and helping migrants under the bridge. The City Church taking in donations for migrants and law enforcement. Their efforts not about politics, but people.
What I hope has been learned is that we can, as I think we did this week, set aside the political battles and just take care of people.
As a business person, you have to appreciate your workers and understand the difficulties that they have.
Roberto Gonzalez had to close his Mexican food restaurant because his workers couldn't get across the Del Rio International Bridge. It's cost him money, but he's proud of how Del Rio responded.
Del Rio's a great place to live. You can't beat it. I mean, everyone helps everyone else.
God has made humans with dignity, with value, and we are to honor one another in that.
Not about politics, about people. The theme I heard from so many people here in Del Rio. By the way, Ursula, there were 11 babies that were born in the last week and a half. One of them was born underneath the international bridge. That's according to the county judge. 10 of those migrant mothers made it to the local hospital here to deliver. The international bridge that's been closed since Friday is still not open. They are hoping it'll be open by Monday, and that is vital for a lot of the businesses here. And coming up at 10 o'clock, Ursula, I talked to the county judge. What question I asked him that had him tearing up? That story tonight on the Night Beat at 10.
Definitely intrigued on that one. Thank you, Steve. Good reporting down there. Been a rough week in Del Rio, that's for sure.